Welcome back to Red, White, and Buffalo, the best Buffalo Bills podcast in the world.
Best.
The best.
The best.
I'm Adam, and my co-host Ronzilla, back again to talk about the lovely Buffalo Bills. Obviously, a much happier week. Total domination. Back, big grin.
Big grin.
Big grin.
Big grin.
Big grins on our face. Very happy, obviously, with the outcome. I expected it. I feel like most of us expected it, especially if you're a true Bills fan.
I think if you didn't expect this, you were the people who don't know the Bills that well, and you're riding on that Week 1 performance, and overhyping the Jets.
And you're also listening to ESPN and all those dumb fucks that have no idea what they're talking about.
You're pretty much listening to most sports networks that just bandwagon on storylines.
That's why you come to us to get actual news information.
I gotta say one thing that
we are much better.
Yeah, we are. We're the true source of the news. Yeah. Unbiased too. I'm just very neutral about the Bills.
Unbiased. Yeah, very neutral about the Buffalo Bills. They're just a great team. We can't help it. We just have to talk about them. We just can't help ourselves. So no, but seriously, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, before we unpack the whole thing, I wanted to say that what made this one sweeter was I happened to be in Vegas right after. So after we just beat up the Raiders, like, I was kind of respectful. Like, I'm not going to bring the Bills gear to wear, even though I probably should have. But I talked to people, and they were such whiners about the Bills. Like, they were mad. They were very mad.
Acting like a 38-10 game could have been different by one play or another.
The one play they called out is the Josh Allen one, where he was on, like, near the line of scrimmage when he let go of that pass for the touchdown, and they're like, oh, they let the Bills do that. I'm like, why are you even acting like the Bills ever get any advantages from the refs? Like, historically, we have tons of penalties. It's always bad calls.
Always the misfortune happens on our side, always.
And like you said, one touchdown wasn't going to make a difference anyway, so, like, what are you complaining about?
Not in this game. Not in this game.
All right, let's unpack it. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Obviously, I really want to focus first and foremost on our lovely Joshua Allen.
Back at it again.
Obviously, a great performance. Really focusing on the short plays and the more accurate throws. Key stat I do want to bring up about him is that he leads the NFL in completion percentage right now. I know it's only 2 games in, nothing to get too crazy about, but that is a good stat to see, because honestly, if you look at his completion percentages over the last few years, they've been very down. And not just that, they've if you look back to his last time when he had a really good completion percentage was when he had his MVP type season in 2020. And that's when he was, like, I think it was close to like 69% or something like that. I'm going to look right now, actually.
Yeah, pretty close. I'll say while you're looking that up, though.
69% in 2020. Next 2 years, he's been at 63%.
Yeah.
So starting the year at 76%, 76.9%. That is awesome, incredible. I think it's definitely reason to be very, very hopeful about Josh.
Yeah.
It just shows that he's becoming more accurate, smarter with his plays. Obviously, week 1, he wasn't the best with it, but he still completed a lot of passes, and he still was pretty accurate with most of them. So it's just good to see that is hopefully going in the right direction.
I think it must be Dorsey listened to our podcast last week, and he made the adjustments. Yeah. No, but I think it's good to point that out, and also the fact that, like, it's kind of deceiving because last week he did a lot of short passes, but if you look at that stat line, he's 31 for 37, and that was with 274 yards, which is pretty much what he used to get with just the long ball games, but with less risk for the interceptions that he'd been throwing recently. So for me, that's a win. Like, I'll take that all day long. It's also, I think if you remember earlier in his career with us, he was more of like run and gun, short pass, unload at 14, 15 yards, maybe 10 yards. It's only really last year that the focus was really on those deep passes. And it just hasn't been working out if you force that all the time.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, I think we could all agree that majority of passes downfield for any team, for any quarterback, it's challenging.
Yeah.
More times than not, you fail more than you succeed with the deep passes. Like that's why you only see what one, maybe two a game. If you get lucky with like a shootout, you'll see a couple in a game. But like that's it's not a common play to happen, you know. So
Well,
I'm just glad you look at our offense from 2 years ago when we were like on the verge of like we were like there and everybody knew we were there. That was a team that would literally get like 4 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 3 yards, 5 yards. You know, so we were always putting ourselves in good situations. And the big thing is too is like staying away from penalties because that's what forces us into those. Okay,
long.
now we got to do
Yeah.
we got to do a 15-yard pass. You know,
Yeah.
like but it shouldn't look. We got to stay in the same mindset, even in a second and 15. You know, and just do a short and get the yard after catch. You know, that's what we rank. I think what did I tell you? 13th right now in the league in yard after catch.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great.
We
Yeah.
got to keep improving on that and just keep doing that because okay, turn a second and 15 into a 3rd and 6. Yeah, it's still 3rd and kind of long, but it's still better than okay, now a 3rd and 15. And now you have to force a long throw again. And now you're forcing downfield. And now you're forcing Josh to try to make a crazy play. And it's just it doesn't work.
No.
One thing I noticed too with Josh is like the running around like that is like don't allow that either. Like the running around and keeping plays open. Like do the quick, get the couple of yards and go again. You know, don't do the running around to try to keep the play open and then forcing something across the middle or across the body or something crazy. You know,
Yeah, on the spinning out to the right and launching the long ball. Like
do
also,
a quick across the middle or do a quick pass to the running back.
he used
like
to do these
like
short
that.
passes like that, and then like it would be like instant decision. Like it's either he's going the short or running. You know what I mean? And either way,
Right.
if he sees an opening, like go back to that. I think the long ball thing, like to get back at that just quick, is like the teams that do that are typically teams that don't have the other option, and that's just what they do.
Right.
But like we became one dimensional last year with that, where everybody knew we were going to pass every play, like
Yep.
2 to 3, like probably averaging 3. You know, almost like 3 downs, like 2 to 3 downs every time. You know, we'd be throwing, and it's like, okay, well, you're not really leading any mystery to it. People can play against that, and I think that's what's going on. And like you said, penalties too. I think we underlook that sometimes because it
Yeah.
does turn like a single digit, you know, third into like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 20 sometimes, you know.
Well, it
And
forces teams to play certain ways, you
yeah,
know?
and then you're forced like at 3rd, you know, 3rd and 20, they know you're not going to run the ball. I mean,
Right.
like especially since like our running, you know, Cook's looking better, but we don't have like someone who's going to guarantee 15, 20-yard run.
Right.
And we need it.
Well, Cook looked good last week. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see that. I know that Raiders defense like ranks like last in the league for most of this stuff. So
Hey, but
it's not.
don't you dare.
I was gonna say it's not does not matter. That's week 2 still. So obviously they could have one bad game like when they just had against the Bills and suddenly be ranked the worst in the league. So all I'm saying is it's good to see you still have to perform. I don't care if it's against the best or the worst. You have to come out and perform. And if you perform, you perform. You know, you do well. You do well. Does not matter if it's against a bad team or not. We could have easily. What if we came out and had another dud of a game, barely won the game like 17-10 or something?
Yeah.
This would be a total different conversation. You know, from everybody. So like, I don't want to hear it that those just the Raiders. It does not matter.
No.
We dominated them still. We showed that we're dominant still. We showed that we're still one of the teams to beat. So like to me, I would rather be in that side than the barely winning, you know, or something like that, you know. So
and if you take those 2 games back to back, and people, you know, the obvious thing people would say is like, oh, the Jets D is strong, that's why you lost and you were struggling, and then the Raiders are bad, that's why you dominated. It's like it's not really that easy to just say that because if you look at our offensive performance, like there was just incomplete passes. Some of that stuff. Josh threw passes that were just bad passes, more so in the first game, and they weren't even like because of the defender.
They were the forced plays.
Yeah, and they were like just wide or something. They weren't even. So there's just mishaps that happened in the first game that you didn't see. And I mean, we said this 100 times, right? Last season, it's like it's the offense like where it's on or off, you know, and like we got to get more consistent with it just being on. Because the defense is always there. Like there's rarely a game where our defense blows it in the past 2-3 years. So
no, I feel like our defense has been like Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into what I did want to talk about the defense too. So that leads into it. Like our defense has been there all season. Yes, we allowed a lot of running yards week 1. Came back, completely shut it down week 2. Defense was the only reason we were even in the game week 1.
Yeah.
Like literally, if it wasn't for our defense putting up stand after stand after stand and bending but not breaking time and time and time again, while our offense just fucking stood out there. It literally and that's happened how many times over the last 2 years? Like that's happened multiple times.
And Breece Hall got away from us, but let's point out that Josh Jacobs is still a great running back in the NFL, and he got shut down.
And how many yards did he finish with? -2.
Yeah.
9 carries for -2 yards for Josh Jacobs.
And he was like a top fantasy back last year. So, I mean, you're not talking about a scrub.
He led the league in rushing, 1,700 yards or near 17.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So either way, I don't care what anybody says. We shut them down. We dominated. Our defense, once again, stepped up. Our defensive line looks great. Like I was just reading the article that was saying like our defensive line still needs to improve. Yes, it does. Obviously, the run game could get better. The sacks, we've only got 3 through 2 games. That could get a ton better. Obviously, looking for improvement against Washington, who's got one of the worst lines in the league. So they allow a lot of sacks. So we should be able to get in there. But Leonard Floyd is nursing an ankle injury, stuff like that. So.
Hey,
I think we'll still have a really good defensive game this upcoming week. I guarantee it.
I think before we get into the upcoming week, I want to point out also Terrell Bernard again, dude, leading with tackles.
And Milano, dude.
And Milano, another interception. Both of them had an interception in that game.
Dude, that interception was crazy. He picked it up. That was incredible.
And Micah Hyde second in tackles. So like him being back, it's such a big difference maker too. Just being around there.
We've just got so many stars on our defense.
I know.
So many.
But it's just looking good, and unlike Bernard, I was kind of like, oh, really? He's taking the lead? Now I see why, man. Like, he's doing it, so...
Tackling machine.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to the Commanders, because you started opening up about that.
Yeah. Definitely for the Commanders...
Sam Howell tackling dummy this week. Tossing him around.
The Washington... who is it? The Washington... Commanders.
Yeah, they're
too funny.
Yeah, they're going to. I think we're going to take them down pretty easy. People talk about the offense, but I don't think they have the defense to hold us back. As long as we keep the same thing going we did last week on offense, it's an easy.
Yeah, win. I think they've got a good defense. That's their one thing that's like decent on their team is because they've got a couple good stars, young stars too.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think it's good enough to hold back our offense if it's?
I don't think so. It's one of those. I think it's one of those games where it's like, they have a good defense, but their offense is not good enough, and our defense is like way better.
It's
going to be one of those games that might go back and forth to start. And then by the end, it's going to be like 31-14 or something like that. Like it's going to be us just like hammering away all game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not, I mean, they're not necessarily just a rollover team. They're a decent team. I feel like Washington is one of those teams that are sneaky because they've got a lot of good young talent. I mean, even on offense, you've got that Brian Robinson Jr. and you've got Scary Terry, like, Scary Terry is a good receiver. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I know they rank him extremely high.
He's
like they rank him like third or fourth best receiver, and I'm like, you guys are a joke.
He's high potential, but he's not consistent. Yeah.
He's barely top 10, if even top 10. Honestly, like you could easily name 10 receivers that could be better than him.
Yeah, so
just saying. So
I looked it up here. So let's see. For open week 3, they're putting the Commanders at number 10 for their D. So they're up there. They're up there further than I thought they were. So
no, their D is good. They're one of the better. They've always been one of the better Ds. But the problem is just like our D, you put our D time and time again on the field over and over and over again because your offense just isn't that good.
Yeah. I mean,
then
Sam Howell,
you're gonna give up points still,
Yeah, we got that young quarterback too, which you can get him flustered, if you start putting a ferocious D on him. So we'll see. I
Who's
still
Washington played so far?
yeah, let's look that up.
Dude, because that could you got to remember that like some of these stats are based off of
Yeah.
who they've played
I
too.
pulled so much stats up, and it's like one I didn't think of. So here we go. So we have, let's see, is this showing like last year?
Well, yeah, dude, look, Cardinals and Broncos are were their first two games,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
and they're only ranked 10th. And I mean, come on, I know they're 2-0, but
And
they barely beat the
they didn't
Cardinals,
blow either of them out. Yeah, they didn't
who
blow
are
them out.
literally the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Broncos 35-33.
So I agree with what you're saying though. They're a sneaky team. So I'm gonna say it might be closer than we initially thought, but we're gonna take that win for sure. We got it.
Oh yeah, I think though it's going to be an easy. I would say it's going to be 30 to like mid-teens,
Yeah, I'd say
17, 14.
14. I'd say even.
And we're going to be in the 30s, I would bet.
Yeah.
And I bet a big game out of Josh again.
Yep.
I think I would like to see him go on a streak of like 3-4 games where he just has 0 turnovers. He's safe with the ball, but he's still making his plays and being himself.
Yep, that'd be great because it would kind of bring him back to like refocus him
Right.
on the way he kind of played before, which was very productive, you know. So
Right. I agree.
yeah.
Let's do. I do want to do a quick rate. I want to hear your top 5 of the NFL right now. 1 through 5.
Teams wise.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to hear your 1 through 5 because
Okay.
I think I've got my 1 through 5 ranks.
Do we want like split either way or just overall?
No, I just want you go your 5 and then I'll go my 5.
Do your 5 first since you already had them. No, okay, well, okay.
Okay.
I'll just throw it out there. I'm gonna say. I feel like I need to look at the standings because I feel like I'm gonna.
Yeah, just go to the standings
Yeah,
and look,
because it'll remind me about people that were like took a loss already. Because I have my like gut feeling on what I have for the whole thing.
How are the Falcons 2-0?
Yeah, that's wild. I don't think they're this strong. Okay, so I don't know if I can put them in the order for me, honestly. Like
Name your top 5 teams.
Yeah, I'll just do top 5 teams right now. I'm gonna say
top 5 teams. No order.
I'm gonna say like 49ers, the Cowboys, and we can talk about this afterwards. I'm gonna say the Bills are still there. I kind of want to say Dolphins, even though they're not a complete team, and then probably Kansas City. I mean, they're in kind of a slump, but I think you just can't really knock it out. I mean, you can't knock them out of the competition. I think they'll find their way back in stronger mid-season.
Yeah, I definitely think San Fran, probably the boys, Bills, KC, probably Dolphins.
Yeah, for me, the KC and the Eagles are kind of in the same situation right now, where they're not.
Yeah, KC and Eagles are like, it's hard to say. It's hard to say too because there's Ravens as well, but they're so beat up. I can't put them up there.
Yeah, they also I just feel when I watch the game like something's missing, and like I don't know what it is still, but it just they don't seem.
And I know all hype about Cowboys, but me and you've talked. I obviously put no hype behind them.
Well, that's why I wanted to kind of like discuss this
team
afterwards because I mean to defend it, like I'm not on the Cowboys like the hype train, like you see where they're the boys this year and they're the team. You know? And I don't even feel like the 49ers have a guaranteed path either. It's just that those two teams.
Look at their schedules. It's just a joke.
We discussed that yesterday that their schedules are both very easy in comparison to some teams, and the fact that the 49ers are they're in a bad division right now. Like
the Niners, Steelers, Rams, Giants, Cardinals, first 4 games of the season. Yeah. They're all the bottom 10 teams in the league.
Yeah. Yep, they're the worst. And if you look at the 49ers, like look who else is in that division. You have the Seahawks who aren't as strong as they've been in the past.
Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals.
Yeah, Rams are bad, Cardinals are bad. Like and they get to play each of those teams twice. So
right.
Yeah. That's 6 wins right there, you know?
They have such a ridiculously easy schedule.
And the Cowboys, I'll actually put the Cowboys up above the 49ers for the fact that they have a tougher division to play in because we discussed this also. Like AFC East, NFC East are probably most competitive divisions right now.
based off of their like teams in their
Yeah,
division
for the
playing each
amount
other.
of
Not
quality teams in
not
that
like I'm
division.
not even saying they're necessarily the best
No.
divisions. I'm just saying that competitive wise, them playing against each other, they are the closest. That's the closest competition in the NFL.
I would almost say they are the best divisions because overall, the amount of teams in those divisions that could make it deep in the playoffs are pretty high chances. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? The fact that
yeah.
like I believe both those divisions will take
Bills
wild
Dolphins could
cards.
easily win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they'll both take wild cards too out
Eagles
of those
Cowboys
divisions.
could easily win a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Like that's just those alone, those teams alone. That's a lot. Well, that's the top. That's half the division from both sides that could easily are Super Bowl contenders right now.
Yep, yep.
And
So
like honestly, like Giants had a good year last year. They're an up and coming team. Obviously, off to a shit start this
they're
year.
probably the worst, but like we were talking about their schedule, I'm
They
like
had a hard
they played
start.
the two
E-
top defenses in the NFC right now. You know what I mean?
Eagles, and then
Oh,
Niners back to back. Like they might still have a like who do they
oh
play?
no,
Let's
Niners
see.
and Cowboys back to back. They did.
Niners
Then they
Cowboys.
got
I meant,
Eagles
yeah.
coming up though. So
Yeah, so that's like a hard start to the season
yeah,
for
there's
them.
someone who's gonna earn it if they get somewhere this season. So
Right.
yeah,
But that's the team that you go to look at, and later in the season they finish 9-7, barely make the playoffs, and then you wonder why they're gonna steamroll a team in the
yeah,
playoffs. And it's like, well, because they're better 9-7 than you think. Then this like Eagles team or this Niners team, if you look at their schedules, they're very weak schedules because
yeah,
they base it all off of strength of schedule. It's like, well, yeah, some of these teams just have good records based off of playing shit teams.
yeah. I
So
mean,
then it should go off of actually what the talent on the fucking teams.
yeah.
That it's just the joke how these teams get ranked.
I don't think they're even gonna get wild card because I think that division is too competitive. But like, if the Giants got in, like, they'd probably still beat someone like the Lions or the Saints or
Yeah.
even maybe the Falcons, you know, or the Packers. Like, they're just like
And
that NFC North is
And you know
not.
how by end of the year, just things get so much different.
Yeah,
When games are on the line, things get way more competitive. Teams get better. It's just who knows? Like everyone was all up on the Steelers hype train, and look how bad they are.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's just you don't know how it's gonna. If the Bears, like everybody was like, oh Bears, 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 they might win the division. Get steamrolled by freaking Packers, and now look, they're 0-2, and it's gonna be same old Bears, same
yeah.
old
And the
Bears.
Steelers, like on paper, they don't look bad. Like, you expect them
Yeah,
to do
no, they've got
better, you
But
know?
it's almost to the point where like they were saying like you almost want the defense on the field to score for them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how bad it's like the offense is
I
so
don't know if
bad.
Kenny Pickett just isn't the guy. Like, I watched that game because I was betting a little bit with them in the Browns game, and it was just tough to watch all around. It was tough to watch the Browns do so bad, and then it was tough to watch Pittsburgh just like barely, you know, they're like their
Yeah.
defense is doing all the action, like you said. Their offenses still look like a mess. I don't know, other than
I
Najee
mean, it
Harris
all
picked it
depends.
up.
I mean, Josh did have what his first 2 years, right? He
Yeah,
had he had 2 years of kind of doing bad before he like had his
I don't know if it
breakout
was even
season.
bad. It was just like real wild, like inconsistent kind of.
Well, I mean, remember first year he was 52%, second year he was 58%
Yeah, that's I mean I
completion
guess like
percent.
inconsistent, you know. It wasn't but
Then year three was
he had great
69.
moments, but he had great moments also still in those.
Yeah,
And I don't see Kenny
but
Pickett having a lot of greatness
you
here.
saw the consistently getting better too in those. Like
Yeah,
that second season, he had 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
yeah.
Like it was significantly better than his 10 and 12 his first
I
season.
mean, I picked Pickett as a backup quarterback, you know, expecting him to do better this year, and I don't even start. I would never start him right now. So
I think that team has potential. It's just it's like we were saying. It's not this year.
yeah,
It's like probably a year or two away still.
they're also like a team that gets injury issues too, like the Ravens, kind of, where
God, that
Deontay
sucks for the Ravens. They have
Deontay
seven
Johnson's yeah.
starters out.
The worst thing might be Chubb, but yeah, but the fact that
Oh,
Dobbins was out again, but Chubb, that was tough to see because we were saying he probably was like
not even just because it was so gruesome, but honestly, it's just hard to see such a star
yeah,
go down and be like, is he gonna play again? Like, is he gonna be as good as he was when he comes back?
like we were saying, probably the
Almost or probably no.
best running back the last 5 years, probably 4 years, like that.
Like consistently,
Yeah,
like I'm not saying like
overall,
obviously Henry has had his run and he's absolutely dominant and he's probably overall Henry's a better running back. I will say that,
yeah,
yes, hands down. But Chubb consistently has been like a top five, if not the top back like for like his every year since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Other than the first season, I believe. I looked at his stats the other day.
Yeah.
I think other than season 1 where he had 996 yards, 4 yards short of 1,000. Every year after that was like 14, 13,
well over 1,000, yeah.
14. It's like every year he's consistent and one of the top in the league. It's just hard to see. He's 27. He's probably not going to come back.
Yeah.
Even if he does come back, he's definitely not going to come back as good as he was.
Yeah.
Like it's tough. I don't see.
It's one of those where like, initially it blows people's fantasies. It blows the Browns' chances, and then like but then you start thinking about, man, this is like when it comes to that whole thing where it's like it's a person, you know what I mean? Like they were like a great player, and it's tough to see someone like that.
Yeah. Fantasy side, I would have 100% drafted him if I had the chance. So I'm like, damn, that could have been fantasy changing.
Yeah, he was on my list. So I think anyone with him is scrambling now because they took him early too.
It was totally unexpected. You're like, I got Chubb, Mr. Consistent.
Oh yeah, he was out like a couple games, like a year where like Kareem Hunt would take like over for a couple games, and he'd come back in and do it again. So
right, but you're always like, he's gonna get you points, and then when he's in, even after an injury, he'd come back and drop 25 for you, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
He was it's just like McCaffrey when he's in. You're getting dominant points from them every time.
And see, I wouldn't deny that McCaffrey would have been a top back in the past few years too, but he just had those injuries like for 2 years in a row, so it was kind of like season-ending injuries.
Yeah. You were right. 2 years, he's number one. You were right. 3 years, he's number one.
Yeah.
And then last year, this year was the first year where he wasn't like ranked like the top guy to draft.
Yeah.
And even though it's kind of weird, he kind of had a good year last year, and then they still didn't really like rank him as the best guy to draft. And then he's honestly been he's gonna go, if he keeps this up all year long, get like 19, 20 every week, he's gonna 100% be the number one fantasy player.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. There's too many options with that guy. So do you want to talk about bold predictions or no, actually I want to talk about something for next week too. What's for this week? I know it kind of started. People in internet land don't know what day it is right now, but we are past Thursday. We're on
of course
Saturday. So the week did start, and I don't think that would have been the game you're looking forward to anyway. But like, do you have a game that you're looking the most forward to besides the Bills game? That's a given every week.
But... let's see. I'd have to look at the schedule real quick.
Yeah, I know. I just popped this on you. I go first because I looked at it ahead of time. But I'm kind of. I think I'm looking at the Monday night game with the Eagles Buccaneers. Like, I think this week is a pretty lopsided week. Like, there's not a lot of great matchups.
It's a lot of shit ones. Yeah. Like, honestly.
Like, it's easy wins. Like, if you were betting or you did pick them, I think
that's going to be a good game. The Minnesota-Los Angeles game is going to be a shootout, I bet. Watch that game.
Yeah, close. I guess I can overlook some of those too. And like, maybe other...
Oh, and I'm always interested in New England and Jets. That's going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah, the rivalry, yeah.
In MetLife. I just love watching those rivalry games like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably looking forward to the Jets in New England just because of the rivalry game. The Chargers and Minnesota will be a good game just because those both horrendous defenses, but really high-powered offenses. Yeah. So that could be like a 30-40 like finish kind of thing. Yeah, let's see if Chargers can change it around from 0-2.
Also, see if the Vikings can pick it up too, because
both of those teams, they were supposed to be one of the better teams in the league, didn't the Vikings finish with like 3 or 4 losses last year?
Yeah, they were actually top team at the end. And
they were like one of the top teams.
They're also 0-2, and like Cousins and them have.
Remember, they beat us off the bullshit, off that catch.
Yeah. Yep. That's
the
right.
Late catch.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a lot of, like you said, a lot of weird games. Houston, Jacksonville, gross.
Yeah.
And Indy, Baltimore, easy win. Baltimore.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on some of these people though. Like, I want to see how the Dolphins do against the Broncos, just because. That's a team that we're looking at closer, and
true.
If they dominate them, we're like, cool. If they kind of come in close, we're like, okay, that'll tell a story.
Even the Monday night, I kind of like the two Monday games. I don't know.
Oh, they're doing it again?
Know.
Oh yeah.
I
Rams
don't know. I
Bengals.
don't know about this. I'm interested in it because I kind of like the idea of being able to like, oh, this game's shit. I'm gonna watch a second game
I think the
because
thing
it is kind of annoying when it's a Monday night game and you go to watch it and it's just like a 30-0 blowout and you're just sitting there like,
I think this started like the COVID years, right? So when they had to do makeups and they put two on a Monday night. But like what I like that they're doing about this better is they're overlapping the starting time slightly. They're not
yeah,
doing like the
I do
first
like
game
that.
then the second game because no one's gonna stay up till 1 in the morning. I mean, someone
But
will,
those
but
are
I'm not.
both garbage games.
No, I think Eagles Bucks should be pretty competitive. You don't think so?
I don't believe in Tampa at all this year. I think they're
I don't
shit.
believe in them,
Baker Mayfield.
but I mean, I think their defense is
It'd
okay.
be nice to see Philly freaking lose to them. That'd be nice. I mean, the Charge or not Chargers, the Rams and Cincy game might be a good game because who knows if Burrow's gonna play?
If
You
Burrow's
know.
not playing, that might go very well for the Rams.
So back to one Monday night next week. I'm looking.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
So it
don't
might
think it's
just
all
be the first
season.
2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I wish it would continue. I kind of enjoyed that.
Me too. I like that you have two games to watch, and like you can watch the first one if it's not going the way you're
We have
interested in.
Saturday nights again this week too, or this year.
Oh yeah, actually, who's Thursday this week?
It was.
Oh, that's no, I mean next week. I meant sorry. Yeah, this one already happened.
Oh,
Yeah. Lions Packers.
next week.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah,
Oh, and then Buffalo Miami, huge game next. Jeez.
that's gonna be huge. Yeah.
At Buffalo too. We better shut
Now,
them the
hey,
fuck
so
down.
now I'm gonna get Tyreek and Mostert just in time to face Buffalo that week because you gotta wait the week.
Oh,
Yikes!
they're gonna shut down just in
I
time, man.
know. I was like, I wish I could get him this week, but it'll be all
You
right.
straight. You straight. Jacked him up on that trade.
No, no,
You ripped him.
no. We'll see. We'll see how Pollard. We'll see how Pollard does. I don't
I
know.
woke up to some text from Shane saying he traded. I was like, ooh, he got you real good. He talked you into that shit.
I didn't even talk him into it.
I know. I was It's hard to say. Tyreek's so good at right now. It's hard to just trade him straight up.
Yeah,
And who knows with Pollard too? Who knows with Pollard? Who knows with
I think Pollard will really show himself this week because they're playing the Cardinals. So,
yeah, and they're probably going to be up, so they'll probably run a lot. So
yeah,
we'll see.
and we'll see if he
And
tears it up.
you just traded Pollard, right?
Yeah, I don't. I have until the next week though. It don't go through till after
Oh, I
this.
already pushed it through, bud.
Oh, did
No,
you?
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
I was almost gonna ask for it, but I'm like, I don't mind keeping Pollard this week.
No, I'm just messing.
Mr.
I could push it
Commissioner.
through if you guys wanted to, but I feel like I don't want to get like too pushy with all that stuff. So people are mad
Yeah,
about it.
I tend to leave it. I'll talk to him and see what he thinks about it too. But
Yeah.
um,
You all listen here. You don't cheat in fantasy leagues, all right?
yeah, and
Play real.
everyone.
All right, but yeah, so I think it's going to be a good week next week for the Bills. Definitely, I think another convincing win. Probably like we were saying, like 30s to the teens, and then the week after is honestly, I'm kind of already overlooking this week. I know it's bad to say, but because I don't want it to be a slip up game, and the big games next week.
Yeah.
We have to already be like fully ready to go for. That's why I hope we use this game as like another tune-up. Get ready, be fully ready to go for Dolphins, and just go into at home against the Dolphins and just freaking womp them, because I want to put us back up there and just be like, see,
Yeah.
we're the best in the
If you
East.
take down some better teams, it's gonna make people readjust and be like, okay, yeah, they are who we think they are.
And I want a convincing win against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I want one that like really shows that, oh shit, like I want like a 30-10 win kind of thing.
Yeah, just to
like
slow them way
complete
down.
dominate.
Hey, let's do bold predictions. So, since you did a long term last week, we won't hear the results on that for a while. But like mine was close. I think Josh threw 3 in Vegas, and I called 4. So
Yeah.
4 TD passes. So I think I almost want to do that bold prediction again with Washington. I want to say he's going to get.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Washington one too.
I'm going to say 4 touchdowns again. I'm going to still say he's going to throw 4. That's going to be my bold prediction.
I'm gonna come out with a very bold prediction. I'm gonna do defensive line 5+ sacks this week.
I hope I love it.
Bold prediction. I think they're gonna come out of the gates and I think we're gonna see a different defense this week. And I think they want to get some sacks. They got 3 on the year. I think we're going to double that plus some. So
yeah,
Let's go, baby.
I think we'll show any of the imperfections of Sam Howell, and I can't wait because they've been if you tune into ESPN or anyone, they've been on the hype train about this guy, and we'll see. That's all I have to say.
Yep. Sam Howell, 3 INTs, bang.
About 3-4 sacks.
No, I could see that though. I could see us literally just beating them, just like we just beat the
Raiders.
Oakland. Yeah, the Raiders. I said Oakland, but Las Vegas. Yeah,
it's all right. The fans will forgive you.
Las Vegas. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a convincing win going into, and it's gonna get us ready to go for the matchup of probably the matchup of the year. Honestly,
just keep it rolling. Two wins and just keep going with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then get us back on top of the East, baby.
I think did we mention this in our predictions that this phase of our schedule that we're gonna probably be rolling on wins, like a series of wins, and just keep the momentum. Yep. So I think the only difference is the Jets, but I don't know. I don't think it was even like looking back on it. They just.
But if you remember, I called that game iffy. Yeah. And I said not because we're like not the better team, and not because I didn't think we were gonna win. But it was more just because it was an away game, division game, week 1. It's just with all the Aaron Rodgers hype, there was this all signs pointing to us like losing that game. So I was just like, it was just a lot of things that I was just like, I want us to win, but it was just a very iffy game in the first place. So
let me ask you a question. Do you think that because we lost that game against the division rival, that we are going to step up and make sure we don't lose the Dolphins? I feel like, do you think it's going to give them a little more drive?
I know for a fact, and we have to be crazy if we're not thinking this. We have to be looking at this game as like one of the biggest games on our schedule.
Yeah.
It just like when we go to at Miami, both of those games have to be circled and be like highlighted as one of the biggest games in the year.
I guess I feel because if we would have took the Jets, if we won against the Jets, then we played Dolphins.
It wouldn't have been as big. Maybe.
I think it would be a higher chance too that we could lose to the Dolphins. But the fact that we lost to the Jets, I think it's like going to be all cylinders.
I feel like at home too. I just don't feel like we're gonna. I just feel like we're just gonna be on point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's no reason for us to not come out and just be absolutely dominant. So I know we're obviously Bills biased, but I just don't see any other. If we get the roll after this game, if we have another really good game like against Oakland, there's no reason why we aren't rolling right into Dolphins and we could just go right through them, even if it's a competitive game, because they're a good team. We can admit that they're a good team. They have a fucking dominant offense. That is no doubt.
Wild.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We've seen it time again. We've denied it. We've tried to deny it, but they have a good offense. Their defense sucks. If we could say that, their defense fucking sucks.
And I'll say too that looking at their schedule, right? So I just pulled it up just to remind myself that the Chargers shootout, that was like no defense on either side that they played against, and then the Patriots were kind of like a step in the right direction for facing a defense, and that slowed them down quite a bit. So I think our defense is even better than the Patriots, obviously. So you're talking like what's going to happen to Tua when he gets pressured by our defense? You know what I mean? Because like the Patriots kind of held them in line. Like it didn't get out of hand at all.
So. And as long as everything goes well, like we're gonna have a full defense too. Last year we didn't have the full defense too. Like we have the full defense. Couple weeks in, like there's no reason why we can't play them to a great game.
Yep.
Even if it's just like a 27-24 win.
Yeah, and Waddle's been kind of slow this year too, and he's coming off that concussion protocol. Or he's not going to come off this week from that, so he's.
I don't know. I don't think so.
So he'll be rested up though for the following week, so that might be a bad thing. Did you get any news on Von Miller? I've not checked that lately. Is he still projected like?
Well, he's no matter what, he's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah. But they can hold the additional if they want, right? So like. I think you can do.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's as long as he needs still.
Yeah. So. I just didn't know if there's any outlook on. I haven't heard an update yet. If he's still projected to just come.
From what I understand, like he's just projected, like that's like his ultimate goal is to no matter what be back.
Oh,
like,
they said he's saying that's when he's coming back. Yeah.
They were basically saying he was almost ready for week 1, but then they just were like, well, we could. Why? if you're not ready, why rush you? Sit out a couple weeks.
Yeah, I
Let
heard that.
everybody
They're just
play.
like, why we're not going to push it. You know what I mean?
He
Just
like went on a podcast and basically was like, yeah, well, I'm not going to rush it. Like I might as well sit out for the 4 weeks, come back fully healthy. He was like, I am 33 now. Like I definitely don't heal as quick, as fast. Like he's like, I got to definitely be a little more careful. He's like, I could probably play. He was even saying that. He's like, I could probably play week 1, but I'd rather sit out for the few weeks, and get better and then play.
yeah,
So I mean, it's reasonable. We were talking about it. It's
yeah.
probably the best play.
It is, yeah. It's better than if you would have came back early and wasn't effective or got re-injured or had something else happen. So yeah.
Right. So I mean,
Almost
honestly,
use him like seasoning, man. They should just sprinkle him in on the games we need him, like where to be really impactful, and that's it. Like don't even
he's a
overdo it.
locker room guy. He's the
Yeah,
locker room glue. Like when we said we were signing him, we said that his most important thing on this team is going to be taking care of like coaching the young guys. And
mm,
what did they do? They already had Rousseau. Then they already had freaking other guy. And what are they doing? They're letting those both learn from him. Look
yeah,
how good Ed Oliver's got.
yeah.
Like he's like one of the best at stopping the rush this year. Like he's just it's crazy like that how good you can see that line every year taking us another step. And now with Vaughn, they're getting better and better. They're a dominant defensive line.
Yeah.
Then you sprinkle in some veterans like we keep signing, like Leonard Floyd, and then
Yeah.
to rotate in. That's also I know people think like, oh, they don't get as much playing time. I don't think they care.
No,
I think they like being rotated in and out,
yeah.
staying fresh for most of the game. In the
Well,
fourth quarter, they're still running around people.
it extends your performance levels like at that age because you wouldn't be able to keep up if you're running every play. And like the way our system is designed for the past 2 years is they're rotating, like they're going three
Right,
deep. So I think it's great. I mean, it's kind of like put the star in there when you need them on the big plays, and then they're gonna make a
right,
big play, pop in the other people who are still good. Like it's not like when we go to second string where we're hurting. You know what I mean? Like it's still
right.
good. Yeah. And Floyd was immediately impactful, so I mean that was a good pickup. So,
Great pickup.
yeah.
Immediate impact, and when Bond's back too, it's going to be nice to have. Like if everyone say, I know we always say this, and knock on freaking wood,
Yeah,
but
Jordan Phillips went down at that in
if
that last game. And I was like,
everyone,
oh,
I know, so shitty. He's been on and off hurt though all year, so
yeah,
we'll see if he can even get it back. He goes through this a lot, so
yeah. I mean,
it's
it
not
looked like
too
it was a
bad.
minor thing. I don't think he went out. It was just every time he goes down, I get worried because I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
because you just never know with him. But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If they can all stay healthy, this defense is dominant. But that's
If
always the key for everybody, and the big if for everybody is if they all stay healthy. So
yeah, I
it's
mean,
just if we can make it happen, it'd be great to see. But that's also by having all the depth too helps.
well, and I think like we just said, these changes that they're making on offense, if they continue to do that, I think that's gonna chew up a lot more clock too. Doing like those
Yeah, I was
10-yard
thinking about
passes,
that
less
actually.
defense on the field, which is gonna make them last. Like last year, that's a lot to ask on a defense to be out that much.
Thinking about that actually, I was like, if we play this offense that we've been playing, where it's more of like the across the middles for short gains and yards after catches, and the run game and stuff like that. If you truly develop that and get really good at all that, you're going to be eating up so much clock that you're going to be asking so much less from your
Yeah,
defense. I
so
was thinking about that this morning. I was like, that's another huge key attribute to like having this shorter offense.
yeah, yep. And you're gonna force the other offense to work faster because they're not gonna have the ball as much. Like
Right.
when you're doing like three deep pass, when you're doing like a failed run, two deep passes, and you're out. You're letting the other team come in and just run the game, but like we're gonna start controlling the clock doing that if they continue to do that. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
For sure. I agree. And that's why I think the better offense is to keep going this way. But
if you
we'll
chew
see.
if you chew
We'll
10,
see.
12 minutes off the clock like on a possession, and then you go and
That's
get
what I'm saying.
and then the next team gets the ball, like they're forced to throw fast to make up for lost time, and put
Yeah.
themselves in situations where they're gonna probably be riskier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might force teams to play the way that they don't want to play.
yeah,
We drive down, score, then they punt, then we drive down, score. Now we're up 14-0, and it's already like halfway through the second quarter or
yeah.
something.
You're
And
getting
now it's
closer to
like
halftime.
shit. And
Yeah,
then we also get the ball after half. And then all of a sudden next second it's 21-7 and late in the third, and it's like basically it's looking like it's starting to look more and more out of reach. Like
yeah, yep. And then the teams have
So
to get more desperate to make up lost time and get points.
I mean,
So.
you kind of saw that with the Eagles last year and this year, when like they kind of play a lot of that small game. I mean, look
Oh
at
yeah,
look how many 4th and 1s they had last year with that QB sneak shit they did.
they're
They
all
got it every single time.
yeah they're
Like,
all sneaks and screens and
yeah,
yeah and runs.
using
Yeah.
like 4 different running backs
Yeah.
to, like it's just that is a great way to play the game because you're guaranteeing yourself moving forward.
I'm happy.
It
I'm
doesn't.
so
Yeah, you
happy.
don't have to have one guy that's dominant like Justin Jefferson or
Yeah.
something. Like or even like Diggs. You just have to continuously move your offense forward so that you can score.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think Diggs is happy getting passes. He doesn't care if he's getting like 50-yard passes. He just
Yeah.
he's happy getting the ball more often, and he will.
I think Diggs would rather he just wants to win.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't care.
But he likes
could get
no.
like
But
0 receptions, but he wants to win.
But he gets like kind of diva about getting like passes. But like that way, if you're mixing up doing a bunch of short passes, there's more passes to go around, so he's gonna get it more. When he gets open on plays.
And I do feel like Gabe's in a contract here. He has to perform.
I mean,
he has to.
Gabe's not a fantasy guy, but I'm not really mad at him. And I don't know if you noticed either. It looks like even though Kincaid is the main guy, they still got that
Knox
connection. The
still
Josh Knox connection still there for that TD. Like he's still.
I love that little extra addition to our team with Kincaid.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a huge addition. People don't realize how big that is.
That and you mentioned running backs in the Eagles. Our 3 backs. I'm happy with. I mean, I'm happy for what they are. I'm happy, very happy.
I feel like it's our best running situation we've had in like 6 years.
Like James Cook is the clear.
Like McCoy.
Cook, yeah, you're right. Clear, and McCoy was injured a lot though, but what was I gonna say? Cook is like the clear number 1, but these other 2, like I mean, the fact that
Harris gets good touches,
and then Murray is just like a reliable dude. Like he's like an old who was that dude who'd been around the league? Gore, I mean, like the dude.
Frank Gore.
Yeah, someone like that who's old, but they can just make it happen.
He can fill in. He can finish up the games. He can, get the goal line. He also can
go up the gut type plays too. Like they're using him for that and not overusing it, but like if we need 4, they just put him up there and he gets.
And
like
Harris
6.
too. He's a good receiver, and then you got Cook, who's a good all-around back. So
yeah,
I feel like this is our best rushing. This is one of our better all-over offenses we've had in a while. Honestly,
I like the options. It's looking more like the defense where we have a lot of options. I like it. So,
yeah. It's looking a lot better. I mean, I know we had a rough week 1 loss, and it did make me want to literally pull my hair out and be like, this season's over for a minute. But once you really sit down and start looking at everything, we're really prepared to have a really good season. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it.
I'm glad that, I mean, I like them, but the Singletary and Moss situation, I'm glad that's gone. It was just.
I'm happy for Moss. Doing well over it.
I mean, it's better for them anyway, So yeah.
Yeah, he was just getting opportunities there that he wasn't getting here. I mean, it's just so weird. I feel like we could have gave him opportunities, and we just didn't.
He had a lot of fumbles though and stuff. Like he blew it.
He fumbled, and he was always in the doghouse with McDermott. He just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe he just needed a different scenery. That's how it happens sometimes.
I think he just didn't mesh well with the team. There's situations like that because there's something more at play because they had like healthy bench it. Like he was just benched like for a game, and we were like, why?
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah, randoms.
Yeah, he would just not play. He'd be like benched and wouldn't play the entire game. But I don't like that inconsistent. Like it's just so much better having that.
Knowing that Cook is going to be the guy kind of thing.
And again, it's taken off of Josh. It's like, dude, you got running backs to do some running now. You don't have to do every time it's 3rd and 4. You don't have to go run. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good game this week. But yeah, subscribe us on YouTube. We're on TikTok, Instagram at Red, White, and Buffalo. If you just look up Adam and Ron Zilli, you probably find us too. But yeah, this will be up tomorrow morning before the game. Hopefully get it out before people watch the game, stuff like that.
Sunday the 24th, just so you know.
Yeah. Sunday 24th, probably around 9 a.m. Oh yeah, this will be already out, so they'll already hear this. So.
Yeah. So we'll probably try to move this back to a little earlier next week again. Had some traveling and stuff this week that threw it off. So I kind of like having a little closer to the game, so it's all fresh.
Yeah. Coming up, we're gonna try to do like probably Thursdays. I don't know, probably earlier in the week, just so we can get it out before the game, so people can listen and get it out and stuff like that.
I kind of enjoy the Sunday release though too. So maybe
We
when the
might do
Bills.
some teasers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do. And I was gonna say maybe on like when the Bills are Thursday night or something, we'll do a Sunday release again so that we can kind of you know,
Yeah.
talk about that game, and then the
Yeah.
rest of the week we just the rest of that week is gonna be other teams anyway. So
Right,
yeah.
right. No, that could work.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Follow us, subscribe to us.
Yes.
Let's go,
Let's
Buffalo.
go, Buffalo.